it sounds weird, but like I've been a fan of you, kind of just like from afar, and like, man, I'm so like happy for her, kind of jealous at the same
Oh,
time. And then I was like, I gotta get her on the show because, like, I mean, just looking at your TikTok, for example, I was kind of scrolling through them the past couple of days and like this morning, and you're doing travel tips. Like, what are your best travel tips that you would have for like people watching this video, or some of the biggest things that you found?
yeah, my niche on travel is budget travel. I want to help inspire people to that they don't have to, spend thousands of dollars to go on a
Yeah.
trip to somewhere. Like even just small trips are great. And like I said, like utilizing vacation time or long weekends is really beneficial. Like saying like you have the time and you don't have to do it super expensively to go and explore a place. It's, I guess, like my best travel tips are finding how to reduce your costs as much for like those big items like flights and hotels. Like those are
Okay.
going to be your
Yeah.
biggest expenses. So like being able to find cheap flights,
Yeah.
and if you're willing to stay in a cheaper lodging,
Like a hostel.
realizing, yeah, hostels or even like Airbnb versus hotels. I mean, if you can find a group of friends to stay at an Airbnb, that'll cut your cost way cheaper. You can stay like $50 a night for per person versus like 150 or more in a hotel.
Gotcha.
Between like two people, it's just really monitoring, like understanding your expenses, like knowing how much money you have for a trip and making it work for you. It's like if I have 500 or $1,000, what can I do with that time? How can I use my money
Sure.
the most efficiently, to be
Yeah.
able to still go on this trip?
Yeah. So, do you have any like specific tools that you use? Like, I always tell people when I'm looking for flights, I use Google Flights because they compare pretty much all the airlines. I think the only airline that I haven't seen that they compare with is Southwest Airlines for whatever reason. But like, I've found flights. Like, I went to Tampa, Florida, for like 5 days, and it was $60.
Right.
Like from nonstop from Indy to Tampa, or like I've seen constantly Indy to Orlando. It's anywhere like you can get flights. I think I recently saw one actually during COVID that was like $45, and
Hmm.
yeah, and then actually I went to Ireland, and my flight was 300 round trip, and I
That Yeah, it's awesome. Is that
yeah,
from Chicago?
yep, that was from Chicago.
Hmm.
Yep. But it was on a now defunct airline called Wow Air. I don't know if you ever rode on Wow Air, but I rode on it.
I haven't heard of that.
You really so like if you look it up, it's like a big purple airplanes, like their purple paint scheme is like their thing.
Uh-huh.
It was based out of Iceland. So anytime you were going over to Europe or anything, you'd fly from Chicago, you'd stop in Reykjavik, Iceland, and then you'll go on to your next destination, whether that was like Germany, England, wherever. And instead of like flying into bigger airports like Heathrow, they'd fly into like Gatwick or like London Gatwick Airport or anything like that. But yeah, the I don't know how they're really surviving because $300 to get from Chicago to Ireland with a an hour layover, that's like ridiculous.
Right.
And
I
I
There's
actually
like error fares.
come again.
There is a thing called like error fares. I don't know like
Oh
how the term is, but it is basically a glitch in the system.
yeah.
So there are sites that specifically look at error fares and find
Mm-hmm.
them, and then they'll send you email alerts.
Gotcha.
Um, I don't use any of those. I use Next Vacay, which I think is kind of like
Yeah.
perhaps an error fare, but they just send me emails to really ridiculously cheap flights. And that's another thing. It's like if you're open to traveling,
Sure.
then just go to wherever it's cheap.